One, two, 1, 2, need my attitude. 3, 4, 3, 4, check my latitude. Ooh, I like that. Ooh, I like that.
All right. So I woke up this morning, and this happens a lot, obviously, because I wake up in the morning. But my first thought was, I can't wait to take a nap. So in addition to that, I got an email from someone that I do some work for, and basically they're like, can you do this, this, and this? And I'm like, sure, but by the way, I have these 10 things that are already on a list from you. So that is how my day's starting. How's your day starting?
I slept through the alarms. And remember the last time when I was like, oh no, Sarah, it's my allergies. So last night I was like, oh, it's just my allergies. And then I laid down and my whole head, and I was like, oh, I'm sick. So took some NyQuil. Yep. Took some NyQuil, Tylenol, and passed out, slept through my alarms, woke up with a head, but I have to work tonight. So there is no sick.
The thing is I can't be sick because I am going on vacation soon. But just so you know, well, Brittany probably knows this already, but so the one kid and my partner have been sick, like cold, like coffee, like whatever. I'm like, stay away from me, you pieces of plague, okay? But then both of them, well, the teenager got pink eye and then gave it to his dad because his dad had to put the eye drops in and apparently didn't wash his hands well enough. But both of them had pink eye, and I'm like, stay away from me. I'm like borderline going to sleep on the couch until I leave for vacation because the two of them have the plague.
Ugh, not good at all. Yeah. So slept through my alarms, and then I got on here as quickly as possible.
You know what? 9 is a loose term. Sometimes we go early if we plan for it. Sometimes we've done 10. Hey,
we're not doing 10 again, though. 10
no,
is bad.
The situation with the light is bad. But also, I think by the time 10 rolls around, so many things are starting. Does that make sense? Like, and people are like, we're going to get into this now today with our topic a little bit, I think. But we get into, like, when you're used to starting between 8 and 9, by the time 10 rolls around, you're just like, I have too many things on my list. What are you talking about? Like, this is this is crazy. All right, today's topic is what?
You know what, guys? We didn't have a topic. And
oh, well, yeah, but we decided
really
on one.
Like, pick a topic. So we're going to go through random topics that chat picked. Which, you know what, Sarah, thinking about it, chat is almost a buzzword, right? With different people. Some people are mad that people use ChatGPT. Some people are, you know, it's its own conversation that one day I think we should definitely have. But today, we're going to kind of nitpick through and make sure that we're making it to all of our stuff. And I'm going to mute myself and run and get Kleenex because I didn't grab any. Sarah,
go ahead.
Talk about your favorite buzzword, clarity.
I don't know if I want to talk about it. Go get tissues, but I don't know if I want to talk about it because the problem is that it's used in every single type of business. It's like, I fear, like, you know, like Coca-Cola or Pepsi is going to come up with well, actually Pepsi did. They came up with Pepsi Clear, which was probably their version of clarity. But my problem with clarity is that no one truly knows what it means. Right? They're like, well, we're going to bring you clarity to your business. We're going to bring you clarity to your marketing. You're going to have clarity in your, I don't even know, dreams. I'm picking all the stuff they claim that you're going to have clarity on. And it's just a buzzword for, am I allowed to say get your shit together on our own podcast? I think we can.
We can say whatever we want.
So it's about getting your crap together, right? And somebody can help you do that, right? i.e., Brittany helps people with accountability, right? She helps people get their crap together, and along the way they find their own clarity. In my opinion, you can't help somebody find clarity. You can help them find a process that leads to clarity. You can help them build a series of templates or the technology around leading them to clarity. But it's that concept that you can't force a horse to drink, right? You can just lead them to the water. I think clarity is a buzzword that no one can help you find. They can just point you in the right direction. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, and I think with that, it kind of leads into, why do buzzwords work? Yeah, they work because we create these things in our head, like we're not clear, we're not this, we're not that. And so other people use specific words that make us gravitate to them. And so if you're cluttered in your business, then clarity is going to sound good. If your brain is overwhelmed, then clarity is going to sound good. But I do agree with you on the front of, all it is helping you get together. And so, inside of those buzzwords, I think one of my favorites that I use, because I use a few of them for sure. I use drive, direction, and support, right? But
sure.
I use them for my business, and they're not necessarily like the big buzzwords that everybody uses, right?
But also, you're not saying them 22 times a day in every single post you make.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the key, right? Somebody could say, I say do better, be better, go off the beaten path. That's my tagline. Do I post that pretty much it's at the bottom of every social media post? Sure. But
is it the center point of your post? No.
I don't say I'm going to help you do better. I'm not going to say, it's implied, but I don't focus on that. I don't know. And maybe I'm
some of the other
Wednesday. Oh yeah, my list. Give me 1 second. I have my little list here. Pivot, alignment, synergy. I can make jokes about synergy. So Brittany and I are part of a networking group that's Synergy, but it's spelled wrong because SIN is the initials for the people that started it. So they spell it SIN, Synergy, instead of SY. But also with that, I'll give credit where credit's due. We're not going to do marketing for that. But while the name is Synergy of just like any group, whenever you get on the meeting, it's not like we're here to find synergy and they say it 82 times. You get my point? They don't. And so I will give credit where credit's due on that.
And I'll give them credit as well, as they have found a really great different type of synergy in their networking.
Sure.
Right. So they did take a name, they modified it to adjust to who they are. And depending on who you ask, it will depend on who created the name. But they really came up with a space that has that great energy. And when you're looking at the word synergy, everybody's, people take it into different ways. And it's the same thing as clarity, right? So if you've got synergy, you have great energy flowing through you, you have this, you have that, and that a lot of that is more self-work than what somebody outside can help with. They can help give you tools and they can help build, but for sure, I think that that's its own space as well.
Yeah.
I think.
But then we can also get into the ones that are like, I think Pivot and Let's Circle Back and like crazy buzzwords like that, where it's like you're sitting in a meeting and you're like, what does circle back mean? Like,
Yeah, and when
Um,
you tell me pivot, I think of basketball and I've got one foot and I'm going side to side.
well, and when I think of pivot, unfortunately, I think of that scene from Friends where they're trying to take the couch up the stairs. Have you ever seen that
Yep.
scene? Yeah, so it's like pivot. Like that's like it literally lives in my head, and I hate the sound of that. It's like pivot.
And
Um,
also, what does that mean in a business, right? Once you're going in a direction and then all of a sudden you're being told to pivot, how many times do you pivot before you just let go of the idea, right? And how many times do you
sure.
pivot before you've recreated and now you're not even in the same genre or space as where you were before? You're just working on something else, but you called it a pivot. And I think really long term, you have to run something for a while before you know if it's working or not.
And I see that. I think that's a good segue into a topic that we didn't know we were going to have. So when you say we need to, if you pivot, you end up going in a direction you hadn't planned on before. Sometimes that can be a good thing. But also, let's talk about as an entrepreneur, how long do you try something before you're like, oh, well, okay, this isn't working. I either have to try something different or I have to, because the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, right? So if you're always doing the same type of marketing, if you're always doing the same type of outreach, how long do you do something? And I'm going to use myself as an example. So technically I've been doing what I've been doing for a hot minute. I want to say it's been about 10 plus years, but I started out with just doing resumes, right? And then I started doing other things for people around human resources, helping people find a job, recruitment, doing different things like that. And none of it was ever named. And so I just named myself, 3 years ago?
Yeah.
I would say. And so that's when Off the Beaten Path Consulting came into play. But since I named myself, I have been only doing this very part-time because I've been back in school getting my degree. So knowing it's part-time, how long do I attempt to do all of this before I say, oh, well, this isn't working? Right? So that's where I want to start. Like how long... And we don't have the exact answer for other people, but we're going to go with it's more than 2 weeks and probably 2 years is too much. You get my point? Like if you've been putting your whole effort into something for 2 years and you haven't sold a widget, maybe it's time to pivot. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that there is definitely those aspects in it's really hard when you find something that you're passionate about and then sometimes you figure out where you're not great at it, right? So you can own a business and you cannot be great at certain things. And sometimes some of those things make owning a business very difficult. And you have to pivot on how am I approaching these directions? How am I approaching these situations? So you have to make those hard questions and those hard answers, but also it's per person. And there has to be a degree of what do I find successful and where do I feel that I am successful, right? So it's a difficult thing. Like you said, it's different for everybody. For you, it's okay, I'm building my foundation, I'm talking to people, I'm figuring out what I want to work with, I'm figuring out what I want to do. So I keep this on the part time. That way I can, once I get my doctorate, I can do things that I love and I can
Mm-hmm.
have the support of my business. So the business might not always be full time because there are things like teaching and stuff like that that come with a doctorate that allow you that
Mm-hmm.
freedom. And so when you're able to balance, look at all these buzzwords, when you're able to balance that business, right, with your life, That's really what you're looking at as far as what feels like success. And I know for 3 years I've been running my business, and I'm also not doing the best at the sales part of it. I'm not doing the best at the outreach part of it. Um, and so it turns into, do I want to let it go? Which is no, because I love the community we're building. I love the spaces that we're doing. Um, and how do I want to manage the bills? How do I want to maintain things, right? Go for it.
I think though, two things that you said. One, um, as an entrepreneur, knowing that, especially solopreneurs, let's go with that, because sometimes an entrepreneur can have a team or a something that they're working with or working under. So let's go with a solopreneur. That means, you're the primary person making the decisions, pushing things ahead, building a circle that you might eventually have. But what does success mean? Right? And you have to say, does success mean happiness? And I build this entrepreneurial adventure, and while I have, I hate using this, but have a real job over here, right? Is that success? Or is success me solely doing this job, this entrepreneurial adventure, and success only means if I'm paying all my bills and have no other job?
Yeah.
Right? Does success mean, one person I'm talking to, like, her initial goal is $5,000 a month, which is great. But her big goal on a vision board somewhere, is $50,000 a month. That would be my goal too. I mean, I don't know if that's going to happen anytime soon, but, what does success look like for you? But then I do want to say, as a solopreneur who built a circle, right? I have a circle of humans, right? If I gave up off the beaten path consulting today and just said, well, not today because I don't have my doctorate yet, but let's go, I get my doctorate and I say, I don't want to consult anymore. I just want to teach. Okay. Would there be a few people in my circle that I would probably have limited connection with, because I don't know what we would talk about if it wasn't, but I would say 80% of them I would still stay connected with. You don't have to give up circles simply because you're not an entrepreneur or you're not in that role anymore. I'm not in disaster anymore. And I just met for lunch on Saturday. Sorry, I was thinking it was a Saturday or Sunday, with somebody I'm still friends with her, right, from that world. And so I don't think you have to give up your circles just because of that. But I think you have to define success if you are going to be a solopreneur.
Yeah, exactly. And you went outside. Congratulations.
I did. That is a feat in and of itself.
That is always one of our exciting things, when we can go do in-person things and be and just touch the world.
Well, and just so you know, it doesn't count to go to the grocery store or to go to the job. We're talking like you go out and do something that is enjoyable. And while buying ice cream might be enjoyable, it's still, you went there for necessities. So grocery shopping doesn't count.
I love it. But no, I agree completely, right? Where does that success level live for you, and how and what does it look like? And honestly, that's what you want to sit with. And there's going to be people in your life who are like, well, this isn't whatever their idea of success is. And I agree with you, Sarah. I don't like real job. I like the idea of 9 to 5, right? Like that 9 to 5. That's what I do.
Sure.
That guarantees that paycheck. Because a 9 to 5 they're established. They're making their money. They're doing their things.
And I've used W-2 job before too.
Yeah, W-2 job. And also a lot of that is, we think, these businesses, but if we look at businesses like Walmart, they started with one singular store, right? They did start with, do we have this week's pay? Do we have this week's whatever? every business started at ground level, and then they managed to get into spaces through creativity and whatever ways to get to where they're at. Um, Kroger in Colorado bought the city markets and the King Supers, right?
Hmm.
So you get to grow, you get to expand, you get to mitigate what your business does, but also understand that those 9 to 5 started where you're starting. So you can become where they're at, even using them as that route to get that paycheck, to get where you're going. You
Sure.
can get where you want to get. And it did take them time. We just see them as fully established today.
Right. Well, and here's the thing. Nobody's probably going to watch this that is going to, I don't care if they see it anyway. So I work part-time for a place called Row New York. Yay, Row New York. They help kids discover rowing, like crew that would have never had that opportunity, right? We all know that crew is more of a higher echelon kind of concept, and not every kid has the opportunity. So they help kids in New York City get there. There's my small pitch. The reason I'm talking to you about this, though, is because Brittany has already mentioned that I'm getting my doctorate. So I'm not saying that this makes me anywhere near whatever, but the reason I bring it up is because I am also, for Row New York, I'm an assistant to the CEO. I am literally a part-time assistant. Okay. But it pays my bills while I'm in college, while I'm building my business, right? And sometimes you got to do that. Sometimes you take a step back. My partner literally stocked shelves at Home Depot during his last degree. Okay. Do you think that, did he love stocking shelves at Home Depot? No, nobody loves stocking shelves. Okay. Maybe if you're retired, like you like helping people find their plumbing supplies. Yes, you can find joy in anything, but it wasn't his career path to do that. You know what I'm saying? And everybody has to take that step back sometimes, I think, to pay the bills, to get their to get their business up and going.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you're stressed on where rent is coming from, do you really give two craps about what marketing is going to go out on LinkedIn today? No. Your focus can only be one thing. So
No, I love that. I think that that is key. And also, it makes you actually look at, when I go to a gas station, who's actually behind the counter, right? Like
yeah.
somebody last night asked me, or not last night, I was sleeping last night. The other night, they asked me a question, and I was like, well, I run a business. And they were like, what? You just sold me cigarettes. I'm like, yeah, I run a business. During the day, I run a business. And I have seen very many businesses successful from what I do. And I run a business. So
Mhm.
I think that it's really important to be able to look at that. And for me, I don't feel like there is a lack of my success, because I see the people around me growing. I see those things, but other people would look at my business and say, well, it doesn't have that much income. No, it doesn't, but I'm doing things to grow it. It might be a slow roll, it might be what it is, but that's where it is, and it's okay.
And again, I feel like I'm putting it all out there today. Like, we both have jobs. I told you about my job. I don't think I've ever mentioned that on one of these lives before. But I'm also, we are in February of 2026. So I just want to put this in perspective. Last year in 2025, for my whole business, okay, I made about $200 on coloring books. Nope, that is a lie. I sold about $200 in coloring books. Amazon took their cut. I'd have to look and see what I actually made. And then I made 100, I don't know, maybe a couple 300 on people actually paying for my services. Okay. Because Keystone Network is being built. I'm building a blog on Substack. I'm doing all of these things that are success, But it's kind of like that saying where if you judge a fish, how well it climbs a tree, right? If you're judging my success in my business simply on the amount of money I made, I'm failing 100%. I do not look like a successful business. And that's fine if that's how you're judging it.
Yeah,
It's probably
exactly.
true. However, Terry is in the chat here right now. And I think if Terry looked at us or described our businesses, and especially the Keystone Network, and I'm not asking her to do it, there would be no way that people that are part of it would describe it as failing. Right?
Yeah.
They would use very much other descriptive words to do that.
Yeah, I think that, and I mean, even for me, I watch you on a day-to-day basis. Last night, I had a conversation with somebody, and hold on, I said verbatim.
The jokes I can make about you reading your typing, the verbatim is going to be funny. But go ahead. Thank you, Terry.
We love you, Terry.
Terry says we would be thriving. How do I? Oh, show. There, look. See? Oh, I did it. Look at the screen.
You did it. Love it.
I'm using all the tricks in StreamYard.
Can we talk about Terry's photo, though? I love Terry's photo.
Her like selfie photo of her. I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, I've seen it, but
her bad, like she's
the one she's kind of leaning back, and yeah. Unfortunately, right now on my screen it looks like extra mini. Okay, so what is the?
Well, you would think. Oh, here it is.
Oh.
Well, you would think. Apparently, I talked to this person a lot. Okay, here it is. Okay. She creates high-level product and stands by it. And that's what it says. You, Sarah. She creates high-level product and stands by it. There's a lot in here. I'm not reading it all. It starts with Sarah is very practical and she creates high-level product and stands by it. So there's a lot more in there, but we're not going to read that.
Not live, at least.
We're not going to read that live. But it talks about how when we look at, a lot of it is like Sarah versus Brittany in business, right? We are two completely different personalities, and that's why we work so well together. And one of my favorite things.
That's why sometimes we want to murder each other. I want it to be live and documented that sometimes 98% of the time, and then there's 2% of the time that it's a good thing we live in different states.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Exactly. But it comes from Sarah is very practical in everything. Here is 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then Brittany goes in and she's like, bunnies for 1, bunnies for 2, and bunnies for 3. I want to add a different level because I feel like the basic, I always want to add more. And somebody said to me last night that you can't have process with expectations, which was a very eye-opening situation because I don't think that I put expectations on stuff, but what ends up happening is I look at it and I say, well, how can we elevate? How can we make everybody gain from this? And to Sarah's point, one, we have to gain from it so that we can then help everybody gain from it. And so as I start to look at things of what do I think is fair or whatever, Sarah's over here like, hey, let's just stick with this. Let's stick to the basic. Let's make the basic work, which talks about what we talked about earlier. Making sure that you're not pivoting too soon, making sure that you're not over fluffing things. And when you can look at situations in that space, and trust me, guys, Sarah has to literally reel me back sometimes because my brain it's too much. I'm just at this point, it is now too much. Like, I'm starting to really, really understand and experience what that looks like. But those are the things that I see when I see Sarah running her business, is that she is creating that high level, and she's not out there telling people, hey, I have a high level product, because that's buzzword, right? I have a high level product, you're going to make 6,000 in a month. No, because Sarah is also on that practical level of, hey, I have a high level product and you're either going to take it or you're not. Done.
Right.
And we can't guarantee anything to anybody. And so many people use that in their marketing of high level and going to guarantee this and going to do that. And what I love about Sarah is she just simply does it. And it's not, and that's probably where Sarah and I, quote unquote, aren't on a level with other
Of
people,
alignment.
because we
Sorry.
don't, well, no, but we don't, yeah,
I was being
alignment, right?
sarcastic.
Yeah, we don't align with other business owners
Right.
that do that type of marketing. We don't align with people who are pressing those words out there and creating a false avenue of something that's not practical. The amount of work it takes to get a following, to build a $6,000 monthly income, takes years.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Sarah, Terry said something great. Terry said, Keystone Network and BizStorming and Off the Beaten Path contribute to the other business owners within the community, pushes businesses forward. This push generates income producing activities. Love it, Terry.
Yes.
Exactly. So with that, I say we close out and we say thank you very much, Terry, with your sassy photo. I love that. And Sarah, what do you got to say today about Keystone?
I don't know. I'm just going to start with, I had a success today because I figured out how to put things on the screen. So Brittany's like, Sarah, I've known how to do this for years. I don't care. I didn't realize if I just hovered over it, it would show up on the screen. Second, the Keystone Network is a place to co-work, network, and collaborate. And at some point in time, we will figure out the actual order of those words, so I say them in the same order every time. We are an online skyscraper that has offices that are for rent, in a sense, for business owners who are entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, people that work from home that want a different option that is not Zoom or Google. What is Google Meet? Yeah, Google Meet. We should probably work on this pitch.
We also offer a space for business owners to be business owners. So you're not by yourself.
You're not by yourself. So if you're sick of working home by yourself and you can't afford a co-working membership to go sit there all day every day, or you just can't sit there all day every day, because that's the key. I used to be part of a co-working location and I loved being there, but it limited how many calls I could have. It limited me getting a flexible schedule because I was sitting in an office, and my wish was to not have that, right? I just wanted the humans. We give you that human contact in a different way.
Yep.
Anyways, that is it. Is there something you want to round up with?
Nope. I think Sarah covered it. I'm super excited to see you all next week. Sarah and I will be here. Just so you all do know, we don't have. Oh, Sarah will not be.
I will be. I will be on a cruise next week.
Maybe I'll get Terry to hop on with me.
Oh, that would be fun. Yes. Let's see if we can find somebody to hop on with you, and we can the following Wednesday I'll be back.
Oh wait, why don't we just pre-record again?
We could, or we just offered Terry live on 14 different channels to join you. So if Terry says that she will join Brittany live next week at 9:00, we'll go with Terry. If not, then Brittany and I will pre-record.
So why am I supposed to think out loud?
Terry's laughing. So anyway. All right. I'm gonna end stream before Brittany offers somebody something else. All right.
Foot, mouth all day long.
1 2 1 2, need my attitude. 3 4 3 4, check my latitude. I like that.